Reacher Season 3's Persuader book title finally makes sense now. The finale of Reacher Season 3 reveals what the book's title Persuader actually means, and it's oh so satisfying. Persuader is the 7th novel in Lee Child's Jack Reacher novel series, and it is one of the author's best. There's a reason Season 3 earned a near-perfect score on Rotten Tomatoes, with its streaming success practically guaranteeing the show will run for at least a few more years. Maria Sten will also front an upcoming Neegly spin-off. The 3rd season finale makes good on the long-teased Reacher versus Polly fight, and also sees Alan Ritchson's anti-hero finally gaining revenge on Quinn Bryan T. The finale, Unfinished Business, is the most action-packed episode of the series, featuring multiple fights and shootouts, including Reacher grabbing a shotgun and massacring most of Quinn's men. It's a very cathartic ending to a solid season, and it's only fitting that Reacher delivers the literal killing blow to Quinn with the aforementioned shotgun. The titles of most of Child's Reacher novels are often delightfully straightforward and blunt, including The Enemy, Die Trying, or Personal. Persuader is one of the more enigmatic titles, and seemingly refers to Reacher's undercover mission where he has to convince his new employers he's on their side. It's easy to picture the author having a wry smirk as he wrote this book's title down, because while it partly refers to the mission, the shotgun Reacher wields in the ending of the book and show is the Mossberg Persuader. For fans of Lee Child's gritty Jack Reacher novels, the name Persuader has long conjured up images of hidden motives, brutal confrontations, and a protagonist who always finds a way to get his point across, violently, if necessary. But for casual viewers of the Amazon Prime series Reacher, Season 3's choice of adapting Persuader as the next installment initially raised a few eyebrows. The title doesn't carry the immediate clarity of Killing Floor or Bad Luck and Trouble. So why Persuader? Why now? After diving into the unfolding of Season 3, it's clear the title Persuader finally makes perfect, spine-snapping sense. And it goes far beyond just being the name of one of Lee Child's best-selling Reacher thrillers. A title that speaks in code. In the Reacher universe, nothing is ever what it seems. And that includes the titles. While many earlier book titles describe either a place echo burning or a concept the enemy, Persuader is different. It sounds almost ironic, especially for a man like Reacher, stoic, laconic, and never one to talk more than he needs to. But that's exactly the point. Season 3 peels back the layers of what Persuader really means. Reacher doesn't persuade with words, he persuades with action. With fists. With calculated violence. And in this season, more than ever, his style of persuasion is front and center. Undercover Reacher, a rare and dangerous beast. From the very first episode of Season 3, Reacher is a ghost. He's assumed a false identity and inserted himself into the lion's den. It's a rare move for him. He usually walks into trouble openly, with the confidence of a man who knows he's the biggest threat in any room. But in Persuader, he's gone undercover, deep undercover. This alone makes the season uniquely thrilling. Viewers see Reacher walking a tightrope he doesn't normally tread, lying, pretending, biding his time. Every interaction is charged with tension because one wrong move could blow his cover. And that's where the persuasion begins. Reacher infiltrates a criminal operation not by playing diplomat, but by showing he can be just as ruthless as the people he's hunting. He becomes someone worse than the bad guys to gain their trust and get close enough to take them down. His violence is strategic. His silence is loaded. His actions persuade without ever asking. The art of silent persuasion. There's a pivotal scene mid-season, easily one of the most intense in the entire series, where Reacher is faced with a moral dilemma. A suspect refuses to talk. Reacher gives him one chance to cooperate. When that fails, he simply closes the door, cracks his knuckles, and the screen fades to black. We never see what happens inside that room. But the aftermath is enough to convince even the most stubborn characters to change their tune. That's Reacher's persuasion in a nutshell. It's not about threats or negotiation. It's about certainty. The certainty that if you don't comply, things will get very bad for you very fast. And that's what makes the Persuader title so brilliantly understated. It doesn't scream action, it whispers menace. A callback to Reacher's past, In the original book, Persuader explores Reacher's guilt over a botched operation years earlier when he let a dangerous man walk free. Season 3 echoes this internal torment. Alan Ritchson brings a new depth to Reacher's character, showing flashes of vulnerability beneath the muscle. His eyes harden when old enemies resurface, but there's a flicker of something else, regret. This season, more than any before, shows that Reacher isn't just persuading others. He's persuading himself that he's still on the right path, that his brutal justice is still justified, that he hasn't become the very thing he hunts. The duality of persuasion, external and internal, gives the title even more weight. Reacher is convincing the world he's a bad guy to catch worse guys. And in the quiet moments, he's trying to convince himself he hasn't lost his soul in the process. Frances Neagley returns and raises the stakes. Fans cheered when Frances Neagley made her return in Season 2, and she's back again in Season 3, sharper and deadlier than ever. She plays a key role in anchoring Reacher's sense of morality. Where Reacher sees the job as dirty but necessary, Neagley constantly challenges him to stay grounded. Their conversations, sparse but loaded, form the emotional spine of the season. Neagley, in her own way, is also a persuader. Not with fists, but with logic, loyalty, and her unshakable calm. She reminds Reacher who he is, what he stands for, and what he could lose if he goes too far into the darkness. Their chemistry is electric, not romantic, but deeper than that. The kind of bond forged in war zones and sleepless nights where words aren't needed. It's persuasion built on trust. Villains worthy of the title. Every Reacher story is only as strong as its villain, and Season 3 doesn't disappoint. The main antagonist is charismatic, intelligent, and terrifying in his unpredictability. He sees through most people, but not Reacher. It makes their game of cat and mouse all the more thrilling. Unlike past seasons where the villain underestimates Reacher until it's too late, Persuader presents a nemesis who knows exactly how dangerous Reacher is and still thinks he can win. This raises the tension to a boiling point. Every meeting between them is a test of willpower, restraint, and cunning. Watching Reacher manipulate, infiltrate, and ultimately outsmart his adversary is a masterclass in psychological persuasion. The weapon called Reacher. Perhaps the biggest reason the title works so well is that Reacher himself is the persuader. Not in the traditional sense, but in the way legends persuade. You don't argue with a hurricane. You don't reason with a grizzly bear. You just get out of the way or face the consequences. By the final episodes of Season 3, Reacher has fully embraced his role. He becomes a force of nature, methodical, relentless, unyielding. And when justice is finally served, it doesn't come with a badge or a court date. It comes with bruises, broken bones, and a single line, "You had your chance." Final thoughts. A title that hits hard. So yes, the title Persuader makes sense now, not just because it's the name of the book, but because it encapsulates everything this season is about. Reacher persuades without speeches. He persuades with silence, presence, pain, and precision. He infiltrates not just a criminal empire, but also the audience's assumptions about heroism, morality, and justice. And in a world of endless noise, Reacher remains the quietest, most convincing voice in the room. Would you like help formatting this as a blog post or turning it into a script or video narration?